Part A, Question 1 to 10. The Richter scale is a numerical logarithmic scale developed and introduced by American seismologist Charles R. Richter in 1935. The purpose of the scale is to measure the amplitude of the largest trace recorded by a standard seismograph 100 kilometers from the epicenter of an earthquake. Tables have been formulated to demonstrate the magnitude of any earthquake from any seismograph. For example, for a 1-unit increase in magnitude, there is an increase of times 30 in released energy. To put that another way, each number on the Richter scale represents an earthquake 10 times as strong as one of the next lower magnitude. Specifically, an earthquake of magnitude 6 is 10 times as strong as an earthquake of magnitude 5. The Richter scale considers earthquake of 6.75 as great and 7.00 to 7.75 as major. An earthquake that reads 4 to 5.5 would be expected to cause localized damage, and those of magnitude may second be felt. It is estimated that almost 1 million earthquakes occur each year, but most of them are so minor that they pass undetected. In fact, more than 1,000 earthquakes of a magnitude of 2 or less occur every day. Part B, Question 11 to 20. Charles Ives, now acclaimed as the first great American composer of the 20th century, had to wait many years for the recognition he deserved. The son of a bandmaster, Ives entered Yale at 20 to study composition with Horatio Parker, but after graduation, he did not choose to pursue a career in music. He suspected correctly that the public would not accept the music he wrote. Even the few conductors and performers he tried to interest in his compositions felt that they were unplayable. Instead, he became a successful insurance executive, building his company into the largest agency in the country in only 2 decades. Even during that busy time, he still dedicated himself to composing music in the evenings, on weekends, and during vacations. Although he occasionally hired musicians to play one of his works privately for him, he usually heard his music only in his imagination. After he recovered from a serious heart attack, he became reconciled to the fact that his ideas, especially the use of dissonance and special effects, were just too different for the musical mainstream. Determined to share his music with the few people who might appreciate it, he published his work privately and distributed it free in 1939, when Ives was 65. American pianist John Kirkpatrick played Concord Sonata in Town Hall. The reviews were laudatory. One reviewer proclaimed it the greatest music composed by an American. By 1947, Ives was famous. His Second Symphony was presented to the public in a performance by the New York Philharmonic, 50 years after it had been written. The same year, Ives received the Pulitzer Prize. He was 73. Part C, Question 21 to 30. Bats are not dirty, bloodthirsty monsters that they are portrayed to be in vampire films. These animals groom themselves carefully like cats and only rarely carry rabies. Of the hundreds of species of bats, only 3 rely on blood meals. In fact, the majority eat fruit, insects, spiders, or small animals. They consume an enormous number of pests, pollinate many varieties of plant life, and help reforest barren land by excreting millions of undigested seeds. Almost all bats use echolocation to negative, especially at night. As these fly, they emit a series of high-pitched squeaks at the rate of about 50 per minute. As these signals bounce off objects in their path, an echo is detected by the hat's sensitive ears, which informs them of the direction and distance of obstacles so that they can undertake corrective or evasive action. Rudd hats are not blind as widely assumed. In fact, all species of hats can see, probably about as well as human beings. It is also a little known fact that bats are highly social creatures. Thousands or even millions of individual bats may belong to a colony, hanging upside down in caves or in trees. Within their social systems, hats assume specialized roles. Sonic may guard the entrance to their caves, others may scout for food, and still others may warn the colony of approaching danger. A nursery colony may be part of a larger colony to provide mother bats with a safe, supportive environment in which to rear their young. Part D, question 31 to 39. The fact that most Americans live in urban areas does not mean that they reside in the center of large cities. In fact, more Americans live in the suburbs of large metropolitan areas than in the cities themselves. The Bureau of the Census regards any area with more than 2,500 people as an urban area, and does not consider boundaries of cities and suburbs. According to the Bureau, the political boundaries are less significant than the social and economic relationships and the transportation and communication system that allocate. The term used by the Bureau for an integrated metropolis is an MSA, which stands for Metropolitan Statistical Area. In general, an MSA is any area contains a city and its surrounding suburbs and has a total population of 50,000 or more. At the present time, the Bureau reports more than 280 MSAs, which together account for 75% of the U.S. population. In addition, the Bureau recognizes 18 megapolises, that is, continuous adjacent metropolitan areas. One of the most obvious megapolises includes a chain of hundreds of cities and suburbs across the states on the East Coast from Massachusetts to Virginia, including Boston, New York, and Washington, D.C., in the Eastern Corridor. As is called, a population of 45 million inhabitants is concentrated. Another megapolis that is growing rapidly is the California coast from San Francisco through Los Angeles.